My dear students, Sai Ram. In the previous session, we discussed physical divisions of India. That means India and its physiography. In that part, we discussed Indian physiographic divisions. Among that, we discussed northern mountains. I mean Himalayan mountains. We studied Himadri, Central Himalaya and Himachal. Today we are going to say another major part of our physiographical division, that is the Northern Great Plain. Northern Great Plain. See, this Northern Great Plain is also called Gangetic Plain, one of the largest plains in the world. One of the largest plain. This northern plain is also called as Gangetic Plain, and Brahmaputra and Gangetic Plain. Today we are going to see this. It covers an area of 7 lakh square kilometer. 7 lakh square kilometer. How this northern Great Plain is formed? See, we have seen Himalayan mountains are young fold mountains. But northern Great Plain, how they are formed? The plain is formed from the fertile alluvium deposited by the rivers which are flowing from the Himalayas. See, you know that our Himalayan mountain ranges are the house of many rivers. It is house of many. It is birthplace of many rivers. The rivers which originated in Himalaya flowing through here. See, when they are passing from Himalaya, they brought down the materials and spread in this region. In this region, imagine this is Himalayan mountain. The rivers which originated in the Himalayan mountains brought down the materials and soils, the alluviums, and spread here. Thus, this fertile tract, alluvium tract, or the northern Great Plain was formed. The rivers which originated in the Himalayan region, which brought down the materials and spread over here, thus the northern Great Plain is created. This plain is very flat and rocks are not exposed. The rocks are not exposed. Here it is very flat and rocks are not exposed to the surface. Where does the northern Great Plain lie? The northern Great Plain lies between Himalayas and Peninsular Plateau. Just see the map. Let's see. See, imagine these are all the Himalayan mountain ranges. From here to there, these are all Himalayan mountain ranges, parallel ranges. These are all Himalayan parallel mountain ranges. But here, these regions are called Northern Plain. It lies between Himalayas and Peninsular Plateau. See, Peninsular Plateau. It lies between. See, in that way, between the Himalaya and Peninsular Plateau. Approximately, this is not to scale. And go through the atlas and physical map of India and you can find this image. You better to go through the atlas. Here the northern Great Plain is located. I told how this Great Plain is formed. This Great Plain is formed by the depositional work of 3 river systems. Which are the 3 river systems? 3 river systems. Which are the 3 river systems? The first one is Ganges, that means Ganga, Sutlej and Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra. These three rivers are played very prominent role in the creation of the Northern Great Plain. These three river systems, not three rivers, these three river systems were responsible for the formation of this great Northern Plain. It is the largest alluvial soil tract in the world, extending east to west. See, extending east to west. Its length is 2,500 kilometers. 2,500 kilometers. The average width is 240 kilometers to 340 kilometers. Width means here, the width. Average width, I am telling. 200 kilometers, 240 kilometers to 340 kilometers. And it covers an area of 7 lakh square kilometer. The plain is formed by the alluvium brought down by the rivers. And plain is very flat and the rocks are not exposed to the. Now let us see. This is one of the major physical division of India, and it is also called as the heart of India. How can you say that this is the heart of India? How can you say? See, nearly half of the Indian population is located here. Because of that only, we are telling that Northern Great Plain is the heart of India. Now let us see the importance of Northern Great Plain. What is the importance? See, the Northern Great Plain is very suitable for irrigation. Irrigation. What do you mean by irrigation? Irrigation means artificial supply of water for agriculture is called irrigation. But this region is very suitable for irrigation and agriculture. How can you, first question, how can you say the Northern Great Plain is very suitable for irrigation? It has many perennial rivers and vast fertile alluvial soil. See, it has perennial rivers. Perennial rivers means the rivers which flowing throughout the year. South Indian rivers are not perennial rivers. During the summer, most of the rivers will be dried up. But in the northern rivers which originated in the Himalayan region, they are perennial. They are perennial in nature. Most of the rivers are snow fed and rain fed. So they flow throughout the year. That is perennial river. It is level and supports a network of roads, railways, means of communication. See, I mentioned here, imagine this is Himalayan region and this is fertile fat region of Northern Great Plain. See, this flat land is suitable for road network, railway network and means of communication. See, it is not possible in Shillong, Arunachal Pradesh, because those areas are hilly region. Even it is not possible in the Western Ghats, because Western Ghats are hilly region. But here it is easy. Here means in the Northern Great Plain it is very easy. Then they are useful for industrialization, urbanization and trade. Here we can see number of pilgrim centers. Number of pilgrim centers are located here. These are all the importance of the Northern Great Plain. Another most important physical divisions of India, the Peninsular Plateau. The Peninsular Plateau. Now we are going to see the Peninsular Plateau. Why it is great? Why it is great? The Peninsular Plateau is the largest division of India, largest physical division. This is largest physical division, and the first point is the largest physical point, and second one is it is the oldest one. See, the peninsular plateau is formed during the Gondwana land age. That means the peninsular plateau was being a part of Gondwana land. What is this Gondwana? Gondwana land. See, due to the pressure of tectonic movements, what we call the tectonic movements that you have studied in your previous class. Due to the tectonic movement of tectonic plates, a Gondwana continent has been crumbled. Crumbled means divided. During that time, this region means this peninsular plateau has been formed. Almost it is triangular in shape. Almost. Now I told it belongs to Gondwana age. See, where does the peninsular plateau lie? Just you see, this is the image. And once again you go through the atlas and Indian map, Indian physical map, that helps. Yes, it lies to the north. It lies to the south of the Great Plains. South of the, here we have seen Great Plain. It lies to the south of the Great Plains, occupies about 16 lakh square kilometer. 16 lakh square kilometer. Northern Plain, the stretch of the total area of Northern Plain is 7 lakh square kilometer, and it is the largest alluvial tract in the world. And see, this peninsular plateau is roughly triangular in shape, and its apex is formed by Cape Kanyakumari in the southern extremity. Here we can see Kanyakumari. See here how it is bounded. ಹೇಗೆ ಇದು ಸುತ್ತುವರಿಯಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು ಯಾರಾದರೂ. If anyone asks like how it is bounded, how the peninsular plateau is bounded, ಇದು ದಕ್ಕನ್ ಪ್ರಸ್ಥಭೂಮಿ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೀತೇವೆ. We call ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಸುತ್ತುವರಿಯಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ. It is bounded by many hills. It is bounded by many plateaus. Now let us see many hills and plateaus, namely Aravali. Here see Aravali. Where? Aravali. Then Vindhyas, Satpur, Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, Chota Nagpur Plateau. Here. Then Deccan Plateau, Malwa Plateau. Here. In that way, the peninsular plateau is bounded. One of the important region of the peninsular plateau is the Aravali range. Now we shall see Aravali range. See, peninsular plateau, you just go through peninsular plateau, largest plateau, largest region, and oldest one. Then it is formed during the Gondwana, and 16 lakh square kilometer is its stretch. Okay. Now Aravali range. Have you heard this? Yes. In the previous class, you studied the Rajput history, where you come across that Aravali range, especially Mount Abu. The Aravali range is the oldest fold mountain. Aravali. It is oldest fold mountain. See, could you give the example for youngest fold mountain in India? That is Himalayan mountain. See, now who is big brother? Aravali range is big brother because he is old one. He is older than Himalaya. ನೋಡಿ ಯಾರು ಅಣ್ಣ ಅರಾವಳಿ, ತಮ್ಮ ಹಿಮಾಲಯ. See, Aravali range is the oldest one. It lies northwest. It lies to the northwest. See, this is south, north, east, west, east. North, south, east, west. But here northwest, in between north. So it located in the northwest of India. Here you can see a hill, that highest peak, the highest peak region in Aravali mountain, that is Guru Shikhar. Guru Shikhar in Mount Abu hill is the highest peak. The highest means 1772 meters above the sea level. Then here Vindhyan range is there. Vindhyan range that flanks northern edge of the Narmada Valley. Here Narmada Valley is there. Narmada Valley. That Narmada river finally reaches Arabian Sea. Here this is Vindhyan range. See, this is Vindhyan range. And Satpur range runs in the east. See, Satpur range. East-west direction. Satpur, this is Satpur. Satpur range, this is. This colored region. It runs east-west direction. And south of the Vindhyas. See, it's to clean again. In between the Narmada and Tapi rivers, in Vindhyas and Satpur, what is flowing? Narmada and Tapi rivers are flowing. Very important rivers in Western Ghats. And that is west flowing rivers. Then here you can see the image also. There you can see Deccan Plateau, Maidan region, then Malnad region, Mewar Plateau, Marwar Plateau, then Chota Nagpur Plateau, Ranchi Plateau, that you can see. Okay. See, in the peninsular plateau, there is another important physical division, that is most sensitive area in this world, and it is known for its biodiversity. It affects on our entire climate and atmosphere. Entire India, it affects on our entire climatic condition, that is Western Ghats. It is not only important for India but also for other eastern countries like Taiwan and Japan. See, so they are requesting us to protect the biodiversity of Western Ghats. Now we are moving to see the Western Ghats. The Western Ghats are continuous. They are continuous. This is the part of the peninsular plateau. You should know that they are continuous. The Western Ghats. Most of you are familiar with the Western Ghats. When you are coming to Alike from Bangalore, Davangere or any from other region, you have to cross the Ghats. By passing the Ghats, you have to reach Alike. Likewise here, the Western Ghats are very familiar to you. The Western Ghats are a continuous range. And for example, imagine this is Indian map. This is what a continuous range, parallel to the west coast of India, from Tapi Valley to Kanyakumari. Tapi Valley to Kanyakumari. They are also known as Sahyadri. Just imagine. See, This is from Tapi Valley to Kanyakumari. See here, they are very steep on the western side. Here it is very steep on the western side. Gentle on the eastern side. Gentle means it is neither steep nor level. Gentle slope on the eastern side. See here steep, here like this. Some water, rivers originated in the Western Ghats flow towards Eastern Ghats or Eastern coast. And here Borghat, Talghat, Palghat are the important passes. Which are the important passes? Borghat. Till the date you heard Shiradi Ghat, Charmadi Ghat, Agumbe Ghat, Pulikal Ghat. But see, Borghat, Talghat, then Palghat in Kerala, Palghat are the important passes. See, before studying this, once again you go and see the important passes which found in Himalayan mountains. Shipkila, Burjila, see? These are the passes. The similar passes we can see in the Western Ghats. The south of the Palghat gap, Western Ghat continues as Annamalai, Anaimalai, the Palani, the Cardamom. From where? See, here. See, this is in Karnataka. Now, I shade in green chalk piece. See, from Palghat, south of the Palghat, it continues as Anaimalai. Anai means, in Tamil, Anai means elephant. Then the Palani, you know that Palani is known for and famous for Subramanya temple. Palani Malai Kovil, Palani Malai. Then Cardamom, Yelai Malai. What does it mean? Yelai Malai. Malai means in Tamil it is hill. Anai Malai, it is called by different names. That range passing through Karnataka, that is called as Sahyadri. Even it is called as Sahyadri in Maharashtra also. But we call it Malnad. That range is here in Karnataka. In Karnataka, this region, the same belt, Western Ghat belt is called as Malenadu. Malenadu means what? The hilly region, Malay. But here it is called as Anai Malai, Yelai Malai, the Palani Malai. Here, the Anai is the highest range, highest peak in the South India. See, one thing we should know that this Anai Malai, that range seems to be like this, similar like elephant head. This head, this Anai Mudi, the hairs of an elephant, the hairs of an elephant. Anai Mudi is the highest peak in South India. Its height is 2695. But highest peak in the world, Mount Everest, 8,848. But in South India, 2006, Anai Mudi is the highest peak, it's 2695. But could you mention which is the highest peak in Malnad? Mullanagiri is the highest peak in Malnad. Which is the highest peak in Karnataka? Mullanagiri is the highest peak in Karnataka. Which is the highest peak in Aravali range or or the Mount Abu Guru Shikhar. Guru Shikhar. This is the Western Ghats. See, it is continuous. It is parallel to the west coast. See, the parallel. ಅದು parallel ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ? See, imagine this is India. Coast, Indian coast, west coast. Parallel. Samanantara. Here you can see the image of Western Ghats. The green shaded area are Western Ghats. Now another important part of the peninsular plateau is Eastern Ghats. See, in the Western Ghats, while discussing Western Ghats, I said Western Ghats are continuous. But what about Eastern Ghats? Eastern Ghats are not continuous as Western Ghats. They are not continuous. Now we are going to see the Eastern Ghats. Eastern Ghats. See, Western Ghats runs parallel to the western coast. But what about the Eastern Ghats? That is also like that. Eastern Ghats, here Eastern Ghats runs parallel to the east coast of India. They extend from Mahanadi Valley here. They extend from Mahanadi Valley in the north and towards the Nilgiri Hills. See, Nilgiri Hills means Ooty. Ooty is a famous tourist center. See, Mahanadi Valley to Ooty. And they are the lower than the Western Ghats. Now see, if they ask the question, differentiate Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Now you can differentiate. How? Western Ghats are continuous. Western Ghats are higher than Eastern Ghats. They are lower than Western Ghats. And they are not continuous. Another point you got. The highest peak in the Eastern Ghat is Armakonda. Which is Armakonda. Armakonda is the highest peak. Highest peak. Anemudi is the highest peak in the South India, but in Eastern Ghats, Armakonda is the highest peak. The Deccan Plateau is bounded by Satpur and Vindhyas in the northwest. See, here. In that way. Then Western Ghats in the Western Ghats in the west, Eastern Ghats in the east, the Mahadev and Maikal ranges in the north. The Chota Nagpur Plateau lies in the eastern part of the peninsular plateau that we discussed. Now we are going to see the image of Eastern Ghats. See, the eastern, the green shaded areas are Eastern Ghats. Before we going to see the importance of peninsular plateau, I'll ask some question. Today I asked least numbers of questions. I gave much importance for the explanation only, but now I'll ask that is very important for the evaluation of our lesson. Through that we can come to know that how much we understood the lesson. The second question is, how is the northern Great Plain formed? Second question. Third question, which is the largest alluvial tract in the world? Fourth question, what is the total area of the northern Great Plain? Fifth question, how can you say that northern Great Plain is suitable for irrigation? Sixth question, what are the importance of northern Great Plain? Today's seventh question, what is the total area of peninsular plateau? Mention the hills and plateaus which are bounded the peninsular plateau. That is 8th question. Which is the highest peak in Aravali range? 9th question. Which is the highest peak in South India? 10th question. Which is the highest peak in Eastern Ghats? 11th question. And 12th question is, mention the differences between Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Dear children, now we are going to see the importance of peninsular plateau. Peninsular plateau is rich in minerals and thick forest and biodiversity that we discussed in the Western Ghats. Here you can see plenty of, we can give the example of Kudremukh, then Baba Budangiri, and there we can see the minerals, Kemmannugundi, they are all located in Western Ghats. Then it has influence on the southwest monsoon. Just imagine, if there is no Western Ghats, what would have happened? Just imagine. It has influence on southwest monsoon and it is covered with black soil which is suitable for agriculture. Black soil is suitable for the cultivation of cotton. And Western Ghats are the birthplace of many South Indian rivers and which are useful for the generation of hydroelectricity. It is also known for hill stations such as Ooty, then Kemmannugundi, Kudremukha. Okay, dear students, we discussed Peninsular Plateau and Northern Great Plain. Just go through the video and textbook simultaneously. Don't waste your time. Don't postpone watching the videos. I hope you will learn. Sai Ram.